Okay, here's a cool trick that I just thought you might want to see. This is just a little bonus stuff for you. Let's say I'm making a plane like this. So this is the one from the other video, the same Mustang. Let's say I wanted to trace over a part of this. Let's say I'm making one large flat piece. I know some students are making this with like the fighter jets. So let's say right click and save image as, and drop it into my downloads or somewhere safe. And then in Inventor, I'm going to open that up. It's going to open up here. Let's say we're at the very beginning. I'm going to make a part file. So we'll say part. It'll open us in here. I'm going to start a 2D sketch. And I'm going to use the top one right here. It's the XZ. So it's kind of the flat plane. Rotate this so it's facing upward. And then in here, I'm going to drop my image. So this is one of the coolest tricks in the book. You can click image. And I'm going to jump down here and find it in my downloads. I think that's where I dropped it. Yep. And it should give you a preview like that to show you which one or what it looks like before you put it in. So say open. And I'm going to try and drop this as much in the center as I can. And right click and say OK. So if your image needs to be rotated, I honestly could make it work the way it is, but I'm picky and I want it to be rotated. You can click on this tool right here, rotate, highlight the whole image, and then it's going to ask us to define the center point. Where do we want it to pivot? So I'm going to say center point right here, in the middle of the image, and then it's going to start following my cursor around like this. And I want it to come around 180 degrees. So I can come that way and click, or I can just type it manually, 180 or 90 if you need to just go, a quarter turn, and click apply, like that. Click done. So now I've got this, and now before we start tracing this thing to figure out, to try and make the outline, we want to make sure it's the right size. So if I come in here to dimension, I can put dimensions on pictures, and this tells me that the overall size is wow, that's a little scary, 0.66663 inches. And I want to make this quite a bit bigger. So let's make this 12 inches. And we will probably end up resizing this in just a second. So to help get a better idea of how big it is, I can go rectangle. And let's say that in my design, I wanted to make it I did not explain what I did there. So I'm going to use the rectangle tool, and I use the center, 2-point center. And I'm going to try and find kind of where the exact center of this plane is as best I can. It's nice to use the point that they call the center mark. Sometimes it's offset a little bit. If you zoom in, it's a little bit easier to click where the exact middle is. So I'm going to guess it's right here. And I'm going to try and just get this to be the same length. So notice mine's not quite the same, but I can get the width the same here. So I'm going to click that. Click OK. Bring this down a little bit, like that. Pull this over here, and I can just kind of size it until it fits. So once I got that, I can decide, I can look at this and say, hey, I want my motor, this is going to be one of the most important constraints, is the engine size. So if I'm going to put my motor here, I can say I want that to be about 3/4 of an inch, so say 0.75, enter. So I'm pretty close, actually. So I'm going to try and center this a little bit more. Maybe grab this right here. Yeah, right click escape. Right there, so that's pretty close. This is a little small, so I'm going to jump in here and make it 13 instead. Oh, it moved. So I'll just replace this, get it level there. Whoa, what is going on? I don't want that. Whoa. Trying to think of a better way to do that. Oh, I can just move the plane. That's better. Okay. Just move the plane. Let's make the body. Let's put a dimension on there, and it looks like, let's try 8. Right click OK. With the plane. And you know, I think it might even be possible to scale this just by grabbing the corner. Nope. Okay. Yeah, so you have to make it with the dimension. So got that about right there. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to split this down the middle. So now that it's about the right size, I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to take a line tool, jump right in the middle, come straight back all the way to here. And then I'm only going to worry about what's on one side of the plane. So I'm just going to do this right side. So I'll come in here and I'm going to start tracing stuff. When I've got rounded angles and stuff, it's really nice to use the arc tool. One that's nice is the just a 3-point arc. So I'm going to click here and then come over here to kind of where the arc ends and then make it look as close as I can like that. And notice the geometric constraint tangent showed up for me automatically, so that's good. I want that. Cool. I can maybe even add another arc right here. And I'm going to zoom really close so that this is rounded. That's good. I'm going to make this perpendicular right here. Looks good. Cool. And then I'm going to just follow the rest with lines. So I'm going to say line tool here, come down, goes to that point, from here to here, here to there. Let me hit escape because I'm probably going to want to use an arc tool right there. So line tool again, from here to the body of the plane, like that. And then from here to this point to that. Escape, line tool again. I'm going to maybe go from the back on this one. Like that. Escape. And I'm going to complete those with an arc. I'm here and say arc tool. I'm just going to make it as close as I can. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Like that. And we'll just call that good. So I'll right click and say OK. And then it's going to be a good idea to start trimming away if you think. So I'm going to delete my dimensions first because it's hard to trim when there's dimensions in the way. So I'm going to use the trim tool. I'm going to say I don't want this stuff. Trim that away. Trim this away. That line. Get rid of this stuff. Cool. And then a little bit on here as well. So I'm going to get rid of these, this one. Oh, actually, I don't want that one. Control Z. I don't want to keep that. So trim. Nope, don't want to move it. Control Z. Trim tool. Oh, I see what's going on here. So if this happens, it's because I didn't connect that line. So I'm going to escape and just try and drag this over so it connects. There we go. Now I should try it. Trim. Get rid of those. That's better. And then I'm going to get rid of this one and this one and also that one. Okay. So you should be pretty good. You don't have to get every single line, but you want to make sure that this section is one complete closed shape. So if I click Finish Sketch, like that, and then I say Extrude, and I click this space and it turns green, that means everything, it's a complete, it's a closed loop. Like if this were property, we've got a fence that goes all the way around it. It looks pretty good. Looks pretty much like the drawing. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say, let's make this 3 divided by 16 for 3/16 of an inch. Hit enter. And I'm like, oh no, the thing's gone. It looks terrible. My life is over. Instead of panicking, I'm going to come in here. I'm going to say mirror tool. So we've only got half of this. We're going to say mirror. Click this body. It's going to say what's the mirror plane. I'm going to use this edge in the side here. It's going to start flipping. I'm going to say OK. There it is. Pretty cool. So we've made just the top view, more or less, of this design. So if I wanted to keep like that, that's great. I could maybe add in, you know, a vertical member of that. That one you'll kind of have to guess because the drawing or the picture we used is only the top view. If you have another drawing that has multiple views, like this one, for example, would be a pretty good one to use, because then you can get this silhouette and you can stick it on top of the wings, and that would work really well. But that's the process. So it's a little bit, there's a few more steps in that one, maybe a little more complicated, but it gives you the best look, or the most accurate look, and the best proportions. So yeah, that's how you do that. So once you've got it, you can drop them into your drawing. So I'm going to say File, Save, and I'm going to drop this in here, and I'm going to say just top view. Click Save. And then in here, this is from the last one, but if I wanted to drop it in here, I'm going to say Place, Base View, and I want to find top view is good. Okay. Oh, whoa. Wrong one. I want to go to here, desktop, or wherever you've saved it. Mustang, and mine is the top view right here. Open. And I'm going to make it 1:1. Flip like this. Oh, so now it's 1:2, 1:1, like that. So it's smaller than the other one that I tried making. This is quite a bit bigger, but it's still pretty cool. So I click OK. And there's that one. So it gives me that silhouette. And yeah, so it works just as well as this other option as the first one. So anyway, good luck. It's a pretty cool thing. And you guys are awesome. See you later.